So we touched on getting an overview of distracted driving earlier, but now it's time to think about us as students and our two homes, Aggieland and our permanent residence. So we drive between those areas and within those areas, and as students, we drive when it matters. It's not scheduled or structured, it's ad hoc. And the big thing is we should be driving safely to get there safely, to maintain the positive and strong influences of the community and keeping those things intact and the way they should be. So to do that, we just need to understand why we are driving the way we are, what influences our decisions to be distracted while driving, and why we drive as A&M students, what makes us think that we can be driving and why we are doing that, and then what can we change and what specific things can be done to change the way we think about driving while just distracted driving or just being more safe while driving. And to just get this started, we should be thinking about just the unique position we're in as students at this point in time, where we've been growing up with the smartphone. And what that does is it creates a strong relationship between us and our phones. And that's really evident through the eMarketer's report in 2018 about smartphone penetration in the United States, where our age demographic of 12 to 17 at the time was about 81% penetration, where 81% of us were using smartphones. And the age group above us, which is where we are now, was 95.7% at that time. And what this does, it shows a strong relationship with ourselves and our phones, and this influences our decision-making process with distracted driving, which is established by Oscar Oviedo Tres Palacios and his colleagues in their research about distracted driving, wherein there are many factors that influence distracted driving, but the two factors that I want to identify are your driving experience and the relationship you have with your phone, which is evident through phone usage and the frequency of using your phone. And just a general overview of those characteristics are more experience means you're less likely to be a distracted driver, and and then higher frequency phone usage means an increased likelihood of being a distracted driver. And our unique timing plays into this position where we don't have experience, but we have the phone usage, so we kind of get the worst of both worlds in that sense. So now that we know what traits and factors are influencing us as drivers, it's time to think about just our status as A&M students and the intricacies that influence our travel decisions. So at Texas A&M, lots of us are in-state students, and we're generally from these areas: Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and within those regions, just generally speaking. And the reason why we say that we're an in-state lean is the Texas A&M Office of Academic and Business Performance Analytics. They have a report about student demographics, and in the fall 2023 term, in the College Station campus, about 71,150 students were there, and of that amount, 61,150 were in-state students, and generally speaking, they'd be in these very dense areas, highlighted very heavily in red. And these areas are close to College Station, which creates opportunities to be driving to and from those areas frequently or not, but it gives you the chance to drive because it's an opportune time. It's convenient, it's beneficial to you. And that just means we are driving to and from our homes and within those areas as well. And that just means to be a distracted driver, we need to be driving, and this just means we have driving opportunities available to us as A&M students. So now it's time to think about changing our formulas for why we would be distracted drivers, and that really just comes in to the form of using our phone as a secondary task to driving. And Dr. Nina Gershon and colleagues, and she's from MIT, really established the increased crash risk from performing secondary tasks while driving. And secondary tasks will be really dealing with our phone usage. And what I really think about this is we have a perceived benefit of using our phone while driving, even though the actual reality is very different from that, whether we like it or not. And what I want to do is I want to think about promoting an incentive for driving safely, and that'll really be through Safe to Save, where driving safely is rewarded with points, and those points go to discounts at specific locations. And that really changes our internal math, where we have a new benefit to safe driving, where in the past it wasn't really there. It was just kind of, you can, you can't. But Now there's like, I can get discounts at places I want, and I can just get new things that I want at cheap prices or free. And this really affects the community because by being incentivized to drive safely, we will be keeping the community safe, and our connections within the community will be maintained and established and strong. So kind of going back to an overview of safe driving and distracted driving again, to make it a tradition, we always do it twice. Really just understanding why we have this unique position as students, why we are drivers as A&M students, and incentives to curtail this bad habit. So as students, we drive when it matters to us, and we want to keep the community intact and strong while we're there. And we have a limited time in Aggieland, but when we're there, our impact lasts for a long time, and safe driving keeps that impact as a positive one. And here is my, oopsie. Yep, oops, I forgot to change